everyone. In this quick tutorial, I'm going to show you, or I'm going to share my approach to creating a ring like this one. As you can see, it has sort of a twisted, ropey motif, and it tapers just slightly as it's heading toward the back of the shank. I'm going to be showing you how to create this using matrixgold dynamic commands. And I'm going to create something that's totally parametric and really easy to adjust to probably whatever parameters you want to apply. Okay, so I'm just going to get started. I'm going to move this to a different layer. I'm going to keep it around just for reference. Okay, so first let's just make a ring rail. I said this was going to be quick and really mean it. But just I want to take a tiny detour just to talk about the rope command, which is here under solid. It's a really great command for quickly creating a ropey motif. It's great for smaller details in my experience, like around bezels or bails, and even for some thinner rings. But its usefulness is limited to size in my experience, and I don't feel it's suitable for a wider motif like the one I just showed you. So I wanted to come up with something else that is also parametric and easy to edit, but doesn't have the limitations of the rope command. Okay, so the first thing to do is to create a sphere, because I'm going to just create one element, and then I'm going to use twist, polar array, and taper, all dynamic commands, to create this pattern. So I want to just create my initial element. So from the front, I'm going to make a sphere. I'm just going to put myself on light green. I'm going to put it in the center. I want it to be, I don't know, maybe a little smaller than my ring rail. It's not super important. I'm going to rebuild this because right now if I turn the points on, it has limited surface edit points, and I would like a few more. So I'm going to rebuild. And this is fine. Doesn't matter too much. You probably want 12 or more, and 8 is fine. Okay. So from the right, I'm going to just window select these, and I'm going to grab this scaling handle. It's obscured, it's under this point, but I'm just going to type 0 to make these planar. I'm going to come over here and do the same. And then I'm going to bring these, all of these on the right and the left, in toward the center. And then I'm going to window select these, bring these a little, make these a little tighter. Whoops, I must have grabbed something else. Oh, the ring rail itself. Okay, I'm just going to do it in 2 pieces then. And I'm just going to grab these again. And again, this object, we're going to keep it around, and you can edit the surface points sort of as much as you want. So I'm not going to do it too much right now. And then from the front, I'm just going to scale it this way, and maybe a little bit this way. And then I'm going to bring it up right outside my ring rail. Doesn't really matter too much. Maybe if you know you want a particular height from the inside diameter, maybe try and match that. But again, this is easy to adjust. So that looks fine. Okay, so now I'm just going to go to transform, and first I'm going to use dynamic twist. I'm going to select my object, just going to twist the top, and I'm going to pull this to 90 degrees. I'm going to hold shift. Okay, I'm going to hide my, oops. All right, And now I want to array these like this one. So I have my one object, and by arraying them, they're going to overlap and create my twisted appearance, or I think that's how it works, and that's how it looks. You may disagree. Okay, polar array. I'm going to just grab this object and polar array, select objects, right click. Okay, I'm going to change this to flatten in the y-axis, and then from the front, one thing that is excellent about this command I really like is that you can limit the angle of your total polar array. And you know, another command that would work well here is probably object on curve, but if I'm working around a center point, this is a pretty great one to me. So I'm going to just pull this in until I feel like these are getting sort of as close as I want them. You know, obviously this one is different, but maybe I'll just try and match that. Okay, and now I want to orient these so that, you know, these two are sort of toward the center top. So I'm going to change my start angle, and I'm just going to swing it all the way around. And then I want to get this and this roughly kind of planar. And again, this just doesn't have to be super exact. Just try and use the grid to get them seemingly planar. And I think that looks fine. All right, I'm going to hide this again. And I'm just going to right click to accept that. And now I want to taper this. So I'm going to use taper, dynamic taper. I'm going to grab my group of objects, and I'm just going to grab the bottom side. And I don't want to taper it, you know, toward the right or the left. I just want to bring it, I just want to make it more of a wedge toward the center. So I'm going to enable second length. And from the right, I'm just going to drag this until I like what I'm seeing here. All right, maybe I'll just, that looks pretty good. I can always change this. All right, so now I have my basic faux twist. Okay, I'm going to just put this on green. And now, before I do anything else, I want to create my shank. So I'm going to come here to Tools. I'm going to use Profile Placer. And I'm going to, I want to put this profile, I want to orient this profile so that the center of the shape is on my ring rail. So I'm going to, I can see here that the height is 2, which is good. So I'm going to open my profile editor, and I know it's 2 millimeters, so I'm going to just make sure grid snap is on, and 1 is the unit that I'm snapping, and I'm just going to drag it down so it's in the center. Okay, and I'll save it. And now I'm just going to snap 1 to the back, so that's like the back of my shank, and then I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to turn mirror on, and I'm going to drag it down. And this takes some adjusting later, but I'm going to try and get it as close as I can. So I just kind of want to offset it. I want to make it wider, and then I want to pull it over. Let's turn on Activate Auto Sweep just to see. Although this doesn't do much good because I can't totally see what's happening here. So I'm going to turn this off, and I'm just going to right click, and I'm going to turn on wireframe, and I'm going to use Surface Sweep 1 to create a shank with these 3. And let's turn this back on. Actually, how about this? Okay, that I like it okay. I think I want my top profile to be just a bit wider. And I want to hide it inside this. I don't want any part of it to stick out. Oh, maybe that's too wide. Let's see. Let's see if I can get that to hide under here. And I'll just bring it down a little bit. And I'm trying to go fast here, but because it's like something you need to just kind of patiently, you're gonna have to sit through this and watch me wiggling it around. Okay, let's try this. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with it too much more right now. Okay, so now I'm gonna use the cut to ring rail to slice this to create my ring, but before I do that I just want to make it all one surface, so I'm going to use Boolean Union. I'm going to select this and these, and now I'm going to use cut to ring rail and I'm just going to select my surface. Alright, so that is pretty good. I like it okay. I might just, from the front, I can see it's maybe a little bit on the thin side. So this is where it's very flexible. You can just grab your initial object, which, as you recall, is linked not only to your initial twist and then your array, but also to the taper. And if you just slide it up, you can bring the twist a bit higher on your design. You can turn edit points on, and you can just, I have an alias for selecting all the points in the U direction, and it's just U, so I've selected those. You can give it, you know, a bit of a pointier feel, or you can make it a little wider. You can just really get this exactly as you want it. I'm gonna, you can even make it a little thinner this way, and you can even twist your initial object, which will also affect the twist, but it may give it maybe a more dramatic look. So as you can see, it's very flexible. So now I'm just going to finish it up, and then, you know, you can, well, this looks a little weird. I'm going to just change a few things about this. I'm going to maybe make it a little taller, and I'm going to just slide it this way. This is fine. You know, you can continue editing it. I'm not gonna like spend too much more on that. And actually, I'm gonna come back to my cut to ring rail, and I'm gonna just edit it. I'm gonna offset it by -0.2, and I'll explain that now. So right now you have this totally parametric object. Gosh, I just really don't like the way that looks at all. Sorry. What am I gonna do? I'm going to just bring this a little further this way, and maybe I'll bring it down just a hair, and maybe I'll twist it a little bit more. Okay, that's better. Alright, so now I'm going to do two more things to it that aren't really technically parametric, but they won't upset what you have going on here. So they're kind of last steps, but they don't break your parametric history. They just sort of add to it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is from the front view, I'm just going to select what I have. I'm going to hold Shift. I'm going to hold Shift. And I'm just going to scale this, and Alt, okay, to make a duplicate. I'm going to scale it until I kind of see maybe a millimeter, a little bit more distance between the white wireframe, which is the original object, and the blue, which is my copy. Okay, let's try that again. All right, just make sure you press Alt before you start pulling on this. So I'm gonna just try and get like this. Okay. I'm gonna turn my profile placer off. Okay, now I'm gonna just grab my scaled object, which again is not parametric, but I'm going to cage edit. Whoops. I'm gonna just use a bounding box, and I'm gonna right click through these parameters are fine. I'm just gonna grab these. I'm gonna scooch them together and bring them up like this, and then maybe in a bit. And then from the right, I'm going to just window select these outer points, and let's turn wireframe on here. And then I'm going to just bring this in to about there. Let's see. Okay, I like that. I'm just going to delete this cage, and now I'm going to use a, I'm going to put this on light green. I'm going to turn that layer on, but I'm going to use a Boolean union, no, a Boolean difference. I'm going to select my ring and then my new cutter. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I've just kind of created a hollow area, or a cutout area, to make it a little bit lighter. I'm going to hide my light green. So again, this is still, I can still come back because I used a dynamic Boolean difference. I can come in here and still edit any of these parameters. But the final thing I'm going to do is just, I'm going to type offset surface. I'm going to hold Control Shift and just grab my inner surface. And this is why I wanted to do that original Boolean union, because I wanted this all to be one surface. And distance 0.2 is good. That matches the amount that I offset in my cut to ring rail. So now I know I'm back to a size 7. And then I'm just quickly going to say fillet edge. I'm going to use face edges, and I'm just going to select this inside face. And I'm going to maybe set it to something that's less than 2. And this is a trial and error process. Sometimes the fillets don't work exactly as you imagine, but let's try this. Okay, well, that worked. Did it? Let's see, now you can just select this. It's a closed poly surface, so I know that that worked. And so now you have, you know, this surface is not attached, obviously, but it's a way of creating a nice kind of filleted edge without breaking your parametric history. And it just gives it a nice finished look, which is great for rendering. So as you can see, now we have, let's turn on the original. Whoops, okay, I'll put it back on something like this. So, you know, these are obviously different because my initial object, this one, was probably wider for this model than this one. But, you know, you can just adjust it to whatever your desired parameters would be. So anyway, I hope this is useful, and you go on to use it and make something cool.